Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Car Buying with Confidence virtual session. My name is Barbara Agan, and I'm the Director of Member Engagement and Education with ABCO Federal Credit Union. Tonight's presenter is Bill Mitchenfelder, Senior Business Development Manager with ABCO Federal Credit Union, and I will now turn the meeting over to Bill.
Thank you, Barbara. You'll see underneath my name is William Mitchenfelder, but my friends call me Bill, so we'll keep that very simple. And tonight's sessions regarding car buying with confidence and really how to use all the tools that we offer you at ABCO. We've added so much to our website, and we realized we never really got maybe the complete message out. So hopefully with this, you'll be able to see some of the things that you could use through us to make your car buying less stressful and definitely more pleasurable. So we'll begin. Let's talk about the current car buying environment. We've, listened to the news. We've heard about the supply chain issues. We've heard about lack of computer chips. It's all true. If you go by any new car dealership, you'll see much lower inventory than they normally keep. And typically you'll see they're spreading their cars out to make it look like they have a lot. Now, what is that? How that affects us? It's really supply and demand. The less car that there are out there, the price is less likely to be reduced by a lot. Now, we all know the Corvette, as an example, is a unique vehicle, and pretty much what the cost of the Corvette is, it's the cost of the Corvette. But we know there's a lot of other makes and models, whether it's a Honda Accord or a Toyota Camry or a Chevy Malibu. Those are tried and true vehicles that typically have always had a discount with them. I think what you're going to find when you go out there now is that the discount is not going to be as high or as robust as it used to be. Doesn't mean you still can't get a deal, but it does mean, more importantly, now's the time to really sharpen our skills and take care of the entire process so that we get the best deal and the best price for you. Now, so we have our ABCO tools that I just mentioned previously. One is our Vehicle Resource Center. This is the hub that holds all the whole toolkit. If you go to our website, access the Vehicle Resource Center, you're going to see everything that you're really going to need at your disposal, the tools you'll need to make a good new or pre-owned certified car purchase. The other thing you'll see on our website is be aware of any current ABCO promotions. In fact, there's one out right now regarding automobiles. Barbara will talk about it at the end of this session. And then review dealer inventory. One of the things that we have at our disposal is when you go to our Vehicle Resource Center, you can access the inventory of all the dealers in the area. You can sort by miles, so you can go 5, 10, 50, 100 miles out if you wish. Most people keep it shorter. What this does, if you think about it, it's to your advantage. With less inventory out there, you could literally sit down in an evening and shop multiple dealership lots for both new and used cars and find out the vehicle that you want that's on that lot. Very impactful. No invoice pricing. On the same venue, if you pick out a vehicle, you'll actually see the invoice price of what the dealer paid. What you'll do is you'll select your vehicle, go in and then select the options that'll be on the vehicle. They all have packages. Once you select that, it will show you the MSRP, or manufacturer suggested retail price, and the invoice pricing. Like I said previously, it's going to be difficult now to get a really tight deal near invoice pricing, but at least you know what it costs the dealer to bring that car in, and that's going to help you with your negotiations. Preferred Auto Dealer Network. Very fine dealers in our area. Many of them you probably know already. But we went another step, and we've contacted a few local dealers in our area that had excellent reputations, and we've made relationships with them, and we've put them on our website. So when you contact us for your pre-approval, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, we can direct you to one of the dealers where you'll have a contact there and you'll look at the vehicle. One other point I want to bring up that I passed on, review dealer inventory, our third option here in your toolkit. Not only will you be able to review the dealer inventory, but the dealer at that point will not know you're looking. Now, some of you might say, well, what does that really matter? I'm going to be buying a car soon. Well, Big Brother always watches you. When you go to a dealer inventory directly or anybody's website directly, they can see it. And then you'll start to get ads. You may even be contacted by the dealer. Now, if you're like me, I take my time. So I want to pick out a color. I may want to narrow it down to a couple of different models. I'm not ready in the beginning to talk to somebody about buying until I really know what I want to buy. So that's what our program does. You can look at the dealer inventory in the area and be sure that no one sees you, no one will hassle you until you then want to obviously purchase the vehicle and then contact that dealer. Carvana. We've probably all seen the commercials. They're the first to make a vending machine that actually holds cars, and they'll even deliver the car to your home. We've added them to our website. They usually carry newer late model vehicles. It's an interesting concept, very good with customer service. And we had an inquiry about that. So we did our research and decided that it would be good to bring to our membership. Maybe not for everyone, but quite a few of you would probably enjoy that type of first-class service. And now we'll talk about a couple products. One is GAP insurance. Now, we all love cars. The problem is it's what they call technically a depreciating asset. You know, when we buy our home, the home builds in value over time. A car does not. Much as we love it, as well as we keep it up, it drops in value. Now, if you purchase a vehicle and then you finance it, there's a gap. What you owe on the vehicle is more than what the car is worth. It takes a long time to get that actually till the end where it's kind of equal. Now, God forbid you were in an accident, car was not recovered from theft. The gap covers the difference between what is owed and what is paid by the insurance company. And then also mechanical breakdown insurance. Now let's delve a little bit further into this. Let's talk about gap insurance and go over this again. This is very important and probably a great option you'd want to speak to one of our lending personnel about. In the event your vehicle is stolen and never recovered or damaged beyond repair, it's totaled. GAP waives the difference between what your primary carrier's insurance settlement is and the payoff of your loan. So you can walk away not owing anything. God forbid there is an accident. We don't wish that on everyone. God forbid the car is stolen. But these things do happen. It's very economical and definitely recommended. To give you some context to this as well, if you price this particular product in most dealerships, it's going to run you anywhere from maybe $800 to $1,200. So if we take the middle of that and say it's about $1,000, our gap minus a special promotion is typically only $425. So be sure when you apply for a loan and purchase the vehicle, ask the lending manager about that, and they'll be sure to explain that to you. Now, the other thing is mechanical breakdown coverage. And this is a really good program most don't have. In fact, we're a little unique on this. We've partnered with a company called Route 66. and they offer our members the most comprehensive coverage of all makes and models, up to 60% off dealer pricing. We've seen some dealers charge several $1,000s for warranty. They don't like to disclose it, but that's what they normally charge. Ours typically would be greatly reduced from that. And the other thing, our breakdown insurance protects you against major mechanical expenses, and there's no deductible on covered parts and labor. You know, the deductible, we all pick that sometimes on insurance to keep down our costs. Our program, there's no deductible. So when the car needs to be repaired, it gets repaired, and your out-of-pocket expenses are minimal. Now, this is the key to the entire, there's two parts I wanted to cover tonight. One, all the resources you have on our website, and also the importance of the pre-approval. This is what I call the secret sauce. Now, prior to working in the credit union industry, I worked for several years, I'll have to confess now, in the automobile industry. Sold cars, I worked in finance. I also worked on the wholesale side, where I worked for a bank that would take loans in from the dealers when you would go to a dealership. So I really understand how this works, and I want to impart this a little bit to you. If you do all your work, find the car you want, pick out the color, price it, do your research, get everything down about the car, go to the dealer, they show you the car, you negotiate the price, then what do? You go to their finance office, and now they have you. This is typically the area where dealership makes most of their profit, and that's what they're there for, to find out where they can place you, where they can make the most amount of money, not only on the financing, but on the gap insurance, warranties, anything that they could possibly sell you. So the key is using the secret sauce. Once you find that vehicle and you've pretty much narrowed it down, you go back to our website. And if you see there, you can actually apply to be pre-approved. Now, I don't know how many of you own a home, but this happened several years ago when people were buying homes. Realtors realized that the power that a buyer would have would be if they'd be pre-approved. So they go to a bank and get a pre-approval letter. So when you went to purchase someone's home, you could say, yes, I want to buy it. This is the price I'm willing to pay. And not only that, you don't have to be held up in contract and find out I can't be approved. I've been approved and I can get this loan. Well, think about that. A car could be one of the most expensive things you'll ever purchase. So to be pre-approved through your credit union at very low and competitive rates, many times on a new, a pre-owned certified vehicle, lower than you'd get in any dealership. It's based on your credit, of course, and the price of the car, etc. But when you get that, now you have the power. So when you pick that car, you're no longer at the mercy of the dealership and having to sit through that finance office. It's really more of getting the check from the credit union to buy the vehicle. And it takes the pressure off of you of sitting in there. I don't know if you've experienced it. Many have. It's common practice. Once you've bought the car, you've walked the lot, you've dealt with the salesman quite some time, it's a whole new ball game when you go into finance. And many times they'll have you sit in that room for minutes on end because they want you to start to get a little uncomfortable so that they can, to the best of their ability, sell you additional things that you probably don't need. So the secret sauce is getting the pre-approval. Takes the pressure and puts you in the driver's seat. Be a little bit corny about it. That's what it'll do. Finally, ABCO, we're here to help. Use the tools we have on the website. They're designed for you to make it as easy as possible, knowing the inventory in your area, knowing what the pricing is on a new car, finding out what your trade-in value would be if you have a trade-in. And then finally, again, getting pre-approved, so you have all the cards on your hand. So when you buy that car, you can buy it with confidence and enjoy the ride.
Underneath loans and credit, vehicle loans, and that probably should be renamed to say Vehicle Resource Center. So there, all the information, a lot of the information that Bill was sharing, you scroll down and you'll find more details there. So there is more information about that gap, the extended warranty, and even debt protection, which is available on all of our loans. So we are running an auto loan extravaganza promotion that started on March 1st and runs through April 15th. So if you were to click on Tell Me More, and that brings you to the actual promotion, you can kind of scroll through and see what's going on. You can, from here or even the previous screen, is where you can start shopping for a car. So that's a product that, or an option that we have right from our website, and basically searching any make or model. If I go back here, I can search for something specific. And I was looking at Honda Accords initially, and then I'm using a rent-a-car, so I'm using a Toyota Camry, and I kind of like that too. But, so you can see all the facts about a car. And let's say I pick one and there's ways to compare. It's really cool to play around with that. The other tools that Bill was alluding to is the fact that we do work with a group of preferred dealers, and we're always at the hope that at some time when inventory does return, that we can do some kind of a special promotion with our preferred dealers, but we're still waiting for that to happen. Okay, I see there is a chat. What about leasing? So ABCO does not offer leases right now, correct, Bill?
Correct. I'll talk about leasing for a couple minutes to help you a little bit. I think some of the manufacturers may try to offer lease programs to help move some inventory that they don't have. Couple things to look at. A lot of leasing is based on payment. One is you never own the vehicle. So when the lease is done, it's done. Secondly, the car, they expect to come back in very good condition. If it's not, they will charge you for any dents, scratches, dings. The salesman may play that down because obviously he wants to sell the vehicle, and he probably figures, I'm not going to be there 3 years later when you come back to return the car. But you will be charged by the leasing company for any damage to the vehicle, even things that you think are normal wear and tear. Also, it's based on mileage, how many miles you drive a year. If you look at the fine print and squint a little bit, you'll see that many leases now are set up anywhere from 8 to 10,000 miles a year. It used to be 12, 15, 18,000 miles. Now, most of us in New Jersey, for some reason, we enjoy driving to work a distance. We typically don't work near where we don't live near where we work. I don't know why we do that in New Jersey. So if you have a lease that's at 8,000 or 10,000 miles a year, more than likely you're going to drive a lot more than that. At the end of the lease, you want to turn that vehicle in. If you're over the mileage for the term of the lease, again, they'll charge you for that. You want to make sure that you're comfortable with that setup. And then lastly, when you negotiate a price. Now, when you buy a car, the car is in your name, and the company that, the credit union where you get your loan from, or a lien holder. But you've negotiated a price for you. Technically, when you're leasing a vehicle, the car is sold to the leasing company. So some dealerships, while they may negotiate a sale price for you, that may not be the price that they're selling it to the leasing company, it may be higher. What they're trying to do is drive up the payment. So just be careful if that opportunity comes up, you confirm. And then again, something I can't help you with, we don't offer a leasing product. I wish we did to help you out fully. But what that'll enable you to do is that you'll make sure you'll get the best possible leasing payment for you. I hope that helps.
Well, here's a follow-up question for you, Bill.
All right.
So the follow-up question is, we are leasing our current vehicle, but are interested in purchasing the vehicle at the lease's end. How can we negotiate a good payoff number?
One, look up what the value of the vehicle is, so that you're armed with that. And then if you're comfortable, and I'll use some numbers. Let's say your buyout is 16,000, and you look through Kelley Blue Book, and you can go to our website, by the way, and put in vehicles, and they'll give you the price of the vehicle. And you see that instead of 16,000, it's worth 14,000. I would make that offer. Has to be fair. Leasing companies have to take the vehicle back. They know it's not worth 16,000, so they have to figure out what they're going to do with it once they get it. So for many, if it's close, they will definitely negotiate with you. Not the dealership. They don't own the vehicle. So if you ever go there and they go, oh, I'll take it from you, pick out your new vehicle and I'll make your last lease payment, or they're not making your last lease payment. They're taking your last lease payment, and they're putting that in the loan. You pay for everything. No one gives it away free. I don't want to be blunt about it, but that's how they do business. So you want to make sure you know exactly what you're paying for. But I would look up the value. And then there's one other thing you may want to look at. Carvana, and there's other ones out there, but Carvana offers an option that they would buy your vehicle. It's not necessarily connected to the purchase of a new one. So let's say you don't need another vehicle. Your lease is run out, and you're done. By getting a quote for Carvana, that'll give you, and you put in the zip code, they'll know where you are geographically. It makes a difference. They'll give you kind of the true price of what they could offer. So that would help you again as another number to see, are you being realistic for what you're asking for to pay, or what they're asking as the buyout. If you're way over mileage though, their buyout still may make some sense. And I would recommend coming to ABCO. We would look at that as almost as a purchase. We'd have the buyout figure and we could figure out a payment for you.
Excellent, Bill. One other thing I'd just like to show is, as far as the tools on our website, and that would be, we have an education and news tab, and within there we have the ABCO Academy. So more recently, last year, I ran sessions called Banking Like a Boss. And there is a session, this second one here, which talks all about the Vehicle Resource Center and goes through, you know, all the different tools that are available. So I would definitely encourage watching that. They're quick. They're real short, little snippet kind of pieces of education. So
two more things I'd like to add. One in general, I didn't include it in this presentation because, you know, you could go for a couple hours with this, and I'm sure no one wants to be here for a couple hours. There is also one on our site that our CEO, Jill Peterson, did. If you have a manufacturer is offering you an incentive, and it's an either or, you get this 0% interest rate, or we'll give you $3,000, and you opt which one to take. Oh, looks like my dog wants to join in on the conversation. He'll add to it. One is the 0% rate is offered many times is, there it is, Auto Financing 101. Many times the 0% rate, your credit score has to be unbelievably high. The manufacturer does it for a couple reasons. One, it helps the dealership move vehicles. And two, the dealership likes it because knowing that you may not qualify, at least it brought you in. and then they can sell and then get you into financing. So again, that pre-approval in your pocket, you have a plan B if that would ever fall through. But what I would recommend, if there's an either or where instead of 0%, here's $3,000 reducing the vehicle, take the $3,000 and really use that reducing the cost of the vehicle. We have rates starting as low as 2.49% on new and pre-owned certified vehicles. Though that's an unbelievably low rate. So you'd get the best of both worlds. You'd get a low rate, and you'd get several $1,000s off the price of the vehicle. So that's a win-win. I'd recommend that.
Plus, our
And
gap insurance is much more affordable than the dealer. And I know that firsthand because I ended up having to buy a car for my son on the fly. We couldn't, eventually we will refinance through ABCO. And I can tell you, I paid well over $1,000 for gap insurance.
In fact, if I remember on our promotion now, typically our gap insurance is at a low of $425.
Correct.
Through this promotion, we drop off $100 off of that. It's only $325.
Which is outstanding.
And then again, if God forbid something were to happen to the vehicle, you're covered for that potential loss. And the second thing I don't want to ignore, I know we're talking about automobiles, but when you saw a little glimpse of the website, it reminded me, we're getting to that season now. The weather, hopefully, although we had a little snow today with the rain, we're getting a little warmer. We also finance motorcycles and RVs.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of our members have motorcycles and RVs, and you're looking for the newer one. Now's the time to also look to us for your financing, and of course, try for a pre-approval on that as well.
Well, thank you, Bill. Does anybody want to come on camera? And I mean, if you want to come on camera and do just some one-on-one and ask some questions, I'll delete it off the recording. Well, hearing none. Silence. That's okay.
I hope I answered everyone's questions. And never hesitate to reach out if you ever have a question.
Absolutely. I will be sending you the follow-up email, and obviously you have my email address already. And anytime you have a question, if we can't answer it, we would certainly put you in touch with the people that can. So all of that said, I want to thank you again for attending our virtual session. I hope to see you at future sessions, or you take advantage of the resources that we have on the website. So again, without further ado, have a great rest of your day.
Good evening, everyone.